All right, well, and it's certainly been a while since you've had a chance to fight. You know, it's been over a year, of course, at this point. Give me an idea. What's the feeling like? What's the emotion like finally being back?
Yeah, it's funny. I prepared myself for the nervousness and anxiety that's going to come, like sitting in the tunnel waiting to fight. But I had forgotten how much excitement it brings as well. And a couple weeks into the fight, people always ask you, are you excited? And it's kind of an awkward question because I go, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm freaking nervous. I'm scared. I am excited, but there's everything else going on. And since I got here to fight week, I realized that excitement again. The jitters, doing these interviews. Once you kind of embrace the energy here that's continuous, it kind of rolls you into the fight with that. So it's been great, man. It's been great being back, and I am happy to say now I'm excited to jump in the octagon on Saturday.
That's awesome. Give us an idea what you went through. I mean, I know that you came out when you had to withdraw from the fight that you had scheduled, said you had a neck injury, and you had to go through surgery and a couple surgeries. I mean, how arduous was this process to get back to here?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a small injury, but it wasn't. It was just one surgery for the neck, but I had other surgeries. I had my elbow cleaned out. I was healing from a broken foot from the Ben fight. So it was a number of different injuries that held me back. But what I did is I did a lot of research. I talked to the UFC doctors, obviously, and then I spoke with a number of fighters who had similar issues and similar injuries. And I was pleased to find out, man, that a lot of these guys had a lot worse injuries than I did, but came back very strong and still have a great career now, and they're still competing to this day. A lot of guys in the UFC. So once I heard that it wasn't something that had never been done before. I'm not going to be somebody, testing new waters. That people are having this injury and the sport is still going on. I feel very confident. So I seeked out one of the better doctors in LA, had it done, and I had a long training camp, man. I've been healed up for a while, but I wanted to put myself through a good 3-month camp, which is something I normally don't like because the risk factor of getting injured again is more probable, man. Just being in that fight mode for so long, that many weeks, you kind of hesitate. You don't want to get injured, but you finally get healthy. But what it did is it proved to me that, man, I went through hard sparring, I went through hard wrestling. I trained smart, but I was able to grind it out. I feel stronger than ever again. I got my body working the way that it did before the injury, probably even better now that I'm cleaned up. So I'm excited, man. It proved to me that I'm ready to rock and roll.
Nice. You've been around this game for a while, veteran. You get matched up with a guy that wasn't even in the UFC the last time that you fought, right? So, I mean,
right.
What did you think? I mean, when they came with the name, I can't imagine you knew much about him. I mean, what did you think when they offered the matchup?
I didn't know much about him. I looked him up, and I was impressed with his last victory. But honestly, man, I'm a little different than a lot of fighters. I say yes to just about every fight, but for me, a lot of times with my life or with the things that have going on, 3 things factor into a fight, right? Date, location, and opponent. And I usually come to the UFC and I say, I need to fight in the U.S. because I've been fighting international too much. I wanted to fight in the States, and I said, look, this is my window, and that was the situation in this fight. I had a 2-week window, man, because I need, like I said, a 3-month camp to get better, and then after this fight, I got this movie thing going on that I have to do, so I said, I have 2 weeks that I need to fight. It was either going to be the Philadelphia card or here, so I don't mean to come from a 14-month layoff and start calling my own shots, but whoever you can give me, man, I'm ready to throw down. And I went through a number of opponents. Dwight was the guy that came up. I think he's just trying to stay active. He came off of a big win not too long ago. He wanted to just keep rocking and rolling, so I was down with that. So for me, it didn't really matter who the name was. I was just happy to have an opponent. But it worked out. Like, I was thinking, okay, maybe we won't be anywhere near the pay-per-view. Who knows? I've been off. He's kind of a newer guy. They threw us on the pay-per-view. I think they knew what they were doing. You get 2 guys that are ready to stand in there and bang. He's coming off of a big knockout. He's got knockout power. The UFC knows what I bring to the octagon, and so anything could happen that night. But I think they know that this fight should deliver for everyone.
Yeah. I think on paper it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Give me an idea what kind of the goal is here. I mean, as you said, you've been off for a long time, but I know you always got other projects going on, movies, modeling, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, are you coming in here feeling like you've got to make up for the year you lost, or do you feel like this is just another fight? What is the goal of this fight?
A little bit, man. I don't feel it in a pressure way, but I feel it. I feel there's a big opportunity here for me. Obviously, we mentioned I'm on the pay-per-view, I'm on the main card, and I've got an opponent that I feel I'm very, very capable of ending this fight in a spectacular fashion. And I feel like that is what I need, that is what I want. I'm coming off of a 14-month layoff, off of a win, but man, when you win and then take time off, your momentum stalls out, the division moves on, and I feel like it did that without me. And it for me, coming and having this opportunity, this is the fight that I needed to get that momentum back from such such a long layoff. So come in here Saturday night, do what I do best, finish this fight, and it puts me right back where I want to be. Then I can take care of my business outside of the octagon, and then I'd like to start lobbying for a main event. You know, I think a big win here in spectacular type of fashion puts me right back in that momentum that I had coming off of my last win, despite the long layoff. But after this fight, I'd like to go sit at the bar, Sean Shelby, I'm sure I'll find him there, and talk main event. Still a little bit of a Darren Till's swagger, and talk to him at the bar and see what we can come up with.